Long after the time of Nuh, the earth had once again filled with people strong in body, skilled in craft, but lost in spirit. Kingdoms had risen upon the ruins of the past, and in the heart of Babylon stood a mighty civilization, proud and powerful. Its people built statues from stone and idols from gold, giving them names and worshipping them as gods. In this land lived a young boy named Ibrahim, peace be upon him. From an early age, he was thoughtful and curious. Unlike the people around him, he would watch as his father, Hazar, carved idols with his own hands, shaping eyes that could not see, mouths that could not speak, and hands that could not move. One evening, as his father worked, Ibrahim asked gently, "Father, why do you worship what you yourself make? These statues cannot hear you, nor can they help or harm you." His father frowned and said, "Do you turn away from the gods of your people, Ibrahim? If you do not stop, I will stone you. Leave me for a time." But Ibrahim's heart could not rest. He would look upon the heavens and the earth and reflect. One night, as he gazed at the sky, he saw a bright star and said, "This is my Lord." But when it set, he said, "I do not love those that disappear." Then he saw the moon rising in its beauty and said, "This is my Lord." But when it too faded, he said, "If my Lord does not guide me, I will surely be among those who go astray." When the sun rose in its brilliance, he said, "This is my Lord. This is greater." But when it set, he declared, "O my people, I am free of what you associate with Allah. I turn my face to Him who created the heavens and the earth. I will never be among those who worship others beside Him." With that realization, the truth entered his heart. He knew there could only be one, the unseen Creator, who gives life and takes it, who needs nothing but upon whom all depend. Days turned to weeks, and Ibrahim watched as his people gathered in the great temple, bowing to their idols. The largest of them stood tall and silent, surrounded by smaller ones lined in rows. He saw them bring offerings of food and gold, praying for rain, for health, for mercy, yet none of the idols moved. He tried once more to reason with them. "Do you hear yourselves when you call upon what cannot answer? Do these idols benefit you or harm you?" They scoffed. "Our fathers worshiped them, and we follow their ways." When words could no longer reach them, Ibrahim decided to teach them through action. One day, when the city's people went out for a festival, he stayed behind. The great temple was empty and quiet, filled with rows of lifeless statues. Ibrahim entered and looked upon them with sadness. He said mockingly, "Why do you not eat what has been placed before you? Why do you not speak?" Then, with an axe in his hand, he shattered them, one by one, striking off their heads, breaking their limbs, until all lay in ruins, all except the largest idol. Upon that one, he hung the axe. When the people returned and saw what had happened, they were horrified. "Who has done this to our gods? He must be one of those who mock them." Some said, "We heard a young man mention them. He is called Ibrahim." They dragged him to the temple and shouted, "Is it you who did this to our gods, O Ibrahim?" Ibrahim replied calmly, "Rather, this one, the biggest of them, did it. Ask them if they can speak." They looked at the shattered remains, and then at the great idol standing silent. Their anger turned to shame. They knew the truth: the idols could not speak. But their pride would not allow them to admit it. They said, "You know well that they do not speak." Ibrahim said, "Then will you not reason? Do you worship instead of Allah that which does not benefit you or harm you? Shame upon you and what you worship besides Allah. Do you not understand?" But their hearts were hardened. The leaders shouted, "Burn him! Support your gods if you are to act." They built a great fire, so large that birds could not fly over it. The heat was so fierce that they could not even approach it to throw him in, so they catapulted him into its center. As he flew through the air, Ibrahim uttered only these words, "Allah is sufficient for me, and He's the best disposer of affairs. Then Allah, the Most High, gave a command that changed the laws of nature itself. O fire, be coolness and safety for Ibrahim. The flames that raged became calm. The fire that devoured everything turned into a garden of peace. Ibrahim stood amidst the flames unharmed, his face serene, his faith unwavering. The people stared in disbelief. The very fire that should have destroyed him had become his protection. When he emerged, not a hair singed, not a garment burnt, they knew this was no magic. This was a sign from the Lord of the worlds. Yet, instead of repenting, their arrogance deepened. They turned away, still blind to the truth standing before them. But among them were a few who believed. One of them was a woman named Sarah, who would later become his wife, and another was his nephew Lut. Together, they would continue the message of monotheism to worship Allah alone, without partners. Allah blessed Ibrahim for his steadfastness and made him a prophet to the nations. He said, "Indeed, I will make you a leader for the people." Ibrahim asked, "And of my descendants?" Allah said, "My covenant does not include the wrongdoers." From that moment, his story became one of courage and reasoning, faith and resilience. Ibrahim stood alone against his entire nation, yet Allah was with him. He was a boy when he questioned falsehood, a man when he destroyed it, and a prophet when he rebuilt the truth. His legacy would continue through his sons, Ismail and Ishaq, through whom came generations of prophets Musa, Isa, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all. Every messenger after him carried the same light of Tawheed that first shone in his heart when he looked at the stars and said, "I do not love those that disappear." The story of Ibrahim is not just about defiance, it is about conviction. It teaches that truth does not depend on numbers, even if you stand alone for what is right. Allah is with you, and His support outweighs the world's opposition. He proved that idols, whether made of stone, wealth, status, or ego, are powerless before the will of Allah, and that true faith burns brighter than any fire. Through his courage, the world was reminded that reason and revelation walk hand in hand. His logic exposed the emptiness of false worship, and his patience revealed the strength of trust in Allah. So, remember Ibrahim when your beliefs are challenged. Remember that sincerity is stronger than fear. Remember that Allah can turn fire into coolness, hardship into ease, and rejection into reward. He is a prophet who taught humanity that the path to truth begins with questioning falsehood, that faith is born when you look beyond what is seen, and that salvation lies in turning your face toward the one who created the heavens and the earth. And thus, the boy who broke the idols became the man who rebuilt the faith, the friend of Allah, the father of prophets, the symbol of unwavering belief. This is the story of young Ibrahim, peace be upon him, the one who stood alone against the world, yet never stood without Allah.